You also did a series of articles kind of grading Andrew Berry's drafts, and I think they're all fair. So 2020 you had a B minus, 2021 a C, 2022 a C, 2023 a B minus. I think those are fair. I know everybody's kind of criticizing and killing his ability to draft players. Some of that is warranted. I mean, you can't miss on top 10 picks. You know, the Jed Wills pick, that was horrible. Greg Newsome wasn't a great pick. He did draft DeJuan Jones, who looked like he can play. He did draft MJ Emerson, looks like he can play. Cedric Tillman looks like he can play. He hasn't had a lot of high picks now. That's because he traded for Deshaun. We come back to the Deshaun Watson trade. Every time we want to figure out why we are in the predicament we're in, it comes back to the Deshaun Watson trade, which, again, when it happened, I thought it was a good trade. So shame on me.
Well, you're not the only one. I kind of felt the same way too. But yeah, going back through this has been an interesting exercise as far as seeing, how Andrew Berry has done it relative to, with the presence of hindsight. And yeah, you talked about Jedrick Wills. He has not been the guy that you expect for a top 10 pick. I mean, he's at least proven he can start, but there's still flaws in his game that really never got better over his last couple seasons, particularly in 2024. That's why I kind of gave it a B minus. So then looking across these drafts, 2021, yeah, Greg Newsome, he wasn't great, but he's at least serviceable. And I think with a late first round pick, that's not the worst outcome. And then JOK, obviously his best pick. Hopefully for the Browns, he's able to play again. But the other thing to think about, that 52nd pick he had in 2021. I believe that's the highest pick he's had in the last 3 years. Remember, the Browns traded out of the second round entirely in both 2022 and 2023. In 22, they traded out of a pick that became John Mechie, and then 2023 that was part of the Elijah Moore deal where they got Moore, and eventually that 74th pick that became Cedric Tillman for a pick that became center Joe Tippmann for the Jets. So when you look at these last three grades in particular, 2021, JOK, very good pick. Newsome, okay, and then you look after that, really he did not do much of a good job. Day three is pretty murky, and I think if you look at most GMs, you could say the same thing. 2022, third round, MJ Emerson, Alex Wright, very good picks. David Bell, not a very good pick. Fourth round, Perrion Winfrey, Cade York. Those obviously panned out extremely poorly for the Browns, and really Jerome Ford being at least a solid, number two, number three running back in the fifth round. That's what makes that, passable. And then 2023, Cedric Tillman, I think there's a lot to like. Siaki Ika, I didn't like that pick at the time. Unfortunately for the Browns, it did not pan out well. And then almost the inverse of 2022 when he had a bad fourth round. He had a great fourth round in 23 with DeJuan Jones and Isaiah McGuire. And then the fifth round, you get a rotational defensive back in Cameron Mitchell. So I think there he did a pretty good job. But yeah, looking at these grades, B minus, C, C, B minus, it's average. And I think we have to understand that, not every team can draft as well as the Detroit Lions have the last 5 or 6 years. It's an unprecedented run of success. And I guarantee if the next five drafts, the Lions might have a hard time replicating any of that success. So when you look at what Andrew Berry's done, it's not been great, but it hasn't been terrible. It's pretty much towing the line. I think these last couple drafts, when you haven't had a first round pick, average is about all you can hope for and hope you can find a true gem.